Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gooners podcast. Actually, I don't know what to talk about this game because I watched the game at 4:30. Seems like a dream. Actually, a bad dream to say the least. Um, but we are here to discuss about the loss against Everton. Uh, with me today to discuss about this, we have Arun back with us. Hi, Arunji. Okay, he's here. He's here.
Oh,
uh,
I am here. I'm sorry. I didn't realize my mic was on mute. I'm really sorry. Hello, guys.
That's a classic, the software engineer example, where people say, "Oh, my mic was on mute," and then we have Deepak with us. Hi, Deepak,
Hello.
and Ellen from Let's Talk FPL. Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Vijay.
Awesome. So before we start, you've been supporting us really good. So please do continue supporting us. We appreciate everything people have been doing for us, and please, if anyone has not liked, shared, subscribed, or comment whatever you want to us, reach out to us. You can be part of the show too. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's talk about the game. I have a very vague memory. Like I said, it's like 4:30 in the morning for me. I was watching the game, but not watching the game. I don't know what that is. But the looking back at it right now, the reaction seems to be completely different. I'll start with you, Deepak, on this one, right? Like, what is your reaction now that you have some time to put this out of your mind or like to view it from a distance?
For me, it's nothing like I expected us to drop points. It's been like that for against Everton. They are another. I think they are worse than Southampton for us. We haven't like won like for the last 5 seasons at Goodison Park. So I think in our group they posted these are the 5 games. How much points you expect? I told like we would get like 13. We would drop 2 points against Everton. But I expected us to drop points. So for me, it wasn't like a surprise because I thought like obviously there would be a new manager bounce and
Right
they
off
would
the bat is
always
the question, right? Like, yes, there is going to be a new manager bounce, but not at the first game.
it would be at the first game for sure. Like I distinctly remember we lost against Everton when they fired one of their manager and that Duncan Ferguson came in and they won the game again 1-0. So obviously Everton is going to bounce back like after their like a new manager or any caretaking manager comes in and like we go and play against them. This has happened like 2 or 3 times. So I expected some kind of effort from them, but they played really well. They deserve this win for sure. So yeah, for me it was like I expected us to lose points and obviously lost points. I thought like this would like derail our like not derail, like it would put pressure more on like more pressure on us for the title challenge, but City lost, which is good. So yeah, so it's
But is City
for
is
me,
City
like
are title challengers, or as United fans have been claiming that they are the title challengers?
they are delusional people, so I don't give a shit about United fans. Like they are still like 8 points behind us with we have a game in hand. So yeah. So it's not a title challenge. Like, yeah, they can say like they are only 3 points behind City. So if City is a title challengers, they are also title challenge. Let them speak whatever they want. But yeah, still we have that good cushion of 5 points, which is lucky for us.
Yeah. On the
Thanks to our like useless neighbors.
never thank them. Never thank them, Deepak. But on the other side of things, right? Like, I mean, I'll start with Ellen on this one. Ellen, um, I mean, Deepak mentioned that there's a new manager bounce and stuff, but Everton has always been that team. right? Like not just about like last 5 seasons or last 6 seasons. You were mentioning a stat about like that extends all the way back to 1950 or something.
Yeah, whenever they get a new manager, at least like the last 6, 7 managers, right? They've always won their first game.
Hmm.
And like our record, and as Deepak said, right, after Arsene Wenger left, right, we haven't won at Goodison Park at all.
Yeah.
So combined with both the things, right? I was like one of the guys in the group who said like I'm fingers crossed for this match because like I was confident we lose points.
But Ellen, see, all this history is good, right? Like all this history, all this stats about yeah, this extends back like until it is proven wrong. And this season has been good for us. And to we never went into the game thinking at least like, oh, this is going to be a difficult game. No, we went into the game. Maybe you guys thought like, oh, we might lose points. That was more of fear factor than like there was no evidence on the pitch that suggested that this kind of game would have come about.
Okay, to answer your query, right? Like I got this doubt after seeing the starting line. I'll
Okay.
say why. See,
Okay.
which seemed like, right, you know they are going to defend with the huge bodies. That is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we needed Martinelli and Saka to play really well, like to cause that chaos so that like a good defensive team we can break. We have done this in this season, but like after Zinchenko started playing as left back, right, he's more into the midfield. And if you see our team, right, most of them are on the right side, leaving Martinelli alone on the left side. So he is like after Zinchenko starts, like Martinelli is not that effective as he was before.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the reason because of our gameplay. I'm not blaming Bartonelli here. So with a team like team, right, like where they defensively be organized, I expected Trossard to start there because of this reason. Zinchenko playing as left back, Trossard will have more value. So when I saw Martinelli, right, I felt like he might be singled out again, and like because of all the attack coming from one side, right, they can defend easily. So I was not expecting a loss, but I was expecting a nil-nil draw.
In that, okay, I'll move on to Arun with the same thing. Arun, let's I mean, all this is good. Starting lineup, we are here anyway. So regarding the starting lineup, there was questions about like Partey and his fitness, right? But and it kind of proved a point like where he was pulled after like 59 minutes or something like that, 55, 56 minutes. Did Partey go into the game unfit? Is my first question. Is that a reason why we were not clicking?
I don't know if he went into the game unfit, but I feel the way we were not allowed to click by like Dutchball. That's what I feel, because like everyone here said, this was supposed to be like an easy 3-pointer for us. Like Everton were like down in the doldrums, and as luck would have had it, they got a new manager right before their faces, and they ended up being Sean Dyche. The guy who we always struggle against, whether he was the manager at Burnley, and he has this effective way of stopping teams going through the middle, and that's where we thrive. Like our midfielders are our strength, and he did basically the thing that we expect him to do: put three people in the midfield and crowd the midfield out. And for his luck, he had three fast, athletic people who were like strong and powerful as well. I think that was the main reason that like put us off, rather than like Party being injured or fit, because um Arteta was pretty certain in his match comments when he said, like, there's a very high likelihood of Party playing. And even if there wasn't, I do not know why he would have started 55 minutes or 60 minutes. And while Party did play, there was like no discomfort in the way in which he played, or like he was not slow or anything. It was just like our entire gameplay was slow. So I do not know if just pinpointing to just Party would actually like, be uh, the reason why we played the way he
No, no.
did, or like whether he was.
I'm not pinpointing
No,
to
I mean, like
Partey.
I understand what you mean in terms of like him being available or him being present, and like him being fit or not fit, but I don't think he was so unfit to not be able to play in this game against, like, that's what I feel. He was fit to play, but we just weren't effective.
Hmm.
That's where I feel.
But how much of that? This is a question to common to all of you, and it's going to sound very harsh, but I'm not asking it from a harsh point of view. But it's like Ben White had a stinker of a game last time around in PL, and even in this game, I thought like he was not. doing what he does well, or he was not doing anything to counteract it. He was not like running past Saka. He was staying behind Saka so much that it was like there was no outlet, there was no like overlaps at all, like on either side, and that was easier for them to manage, is what I felt. I mean, Zinchenko, we know what he is. We know that he's going to be a midfielder. So the outside run and inside run is usually done by Shaka and Martinelli. That was still happening. But on the other side, Saka didn't have an outlet. Like when they nullified, or like when they double teamed on Saka, it was there was no out for him. Like Ben White was not making those like outside runs. Is Ben White having a time where he needs to be away from the first team, bring back Tomiyasu, because Tomiyasu did play the City game. Tomiyasu did play the second half of the United game. So and he was effective. We know Tomiyasu. He was effective. Is it time for that position to be challenged or changed? Anyone can take it.
Yeah, why not? So you have like a good
No,
player.
it's not a why not. It's I'm saying, is it time for that change to happen? Like this game, if it would have been like Tomiyasu instead of Ben White, would the result be different?
I don't think so. It would have still been the same. It's nothing like I don't think so. Tommy would have made that much difference in this case. The starting lineup was fine. I don't see any issues with it. The how we reacted, like for them to score the goal and how we reacted, that was probably like a mistake. Probably we could have made like better substitutes. Like in this case, like we could have removed Odegaard for Trossard, not just Martinelli for Trossard. Like like Martinelli like can run for 90 minutes, even though he's having a bad game, he can cause problems. So I thought like the substitutions could have been better, and like yeah, Tommy could have come in like earlier, but I think like yeah, you can give Ben White probably like one or two more games and see how he's performing, and like then we can make the decision because he has been like too good for 18 games. Just because he had like one bad game and the entire team had a bad game like this weekend. So I wouldn't like jump into conclusion saying like Ben White should lose his starting position. But yeah, I think like for like not like helping Saka, I think Arteta would have noticed because he constantly keeps on shouting instructions in the touchline, right? So he obviously would have noticed, and maybe that is an instructions from him. I don't know like why he didn't overlap, but yeah, that was distinctively we can see that he wasn't overlapping. Saka was like left all alone in that
Yeah.
place. But I don't know like why he did that, or like was it an instruction from Arteta that something like just the wingers alone like stretch a pitch and just others like stay back and we can move through the middle. I don't know like what was the decision, but yeah, like you said, it was you can see distinctively he didn't help out Saka at
Yeah.
all.
On that
I don't know if Tommy starting would have made a difference, but I think he could have come in much earlier than he did, like he did in the United game. Like Deepak said, things were not happening. These are the times when you need to make changes like more proactively rather than being reactive. And we were reactive. I think we should have definitely brought Tommy in much earlier. He would have given something different than what White did. And White, let's be honest, has been having a little bit of a drop in form, which is quite natural. It's not as nice in an original position either. When we have options, we should be intelligent enough to go take those options and not stick to something that is not working. That's something that I wish the manager learned sooner than later.
on that topic though, right? I mean, I would extend that question to Ellen in this way, right? Ellen, um, yes, we did have options in the bench for the first time this season. Like usually when we look at the bench, like for example, I think it was which game was that when we looked at the bench and there was nothing in it.
Castle.
Newcastle. We looked at the bench and there was nothing in it. But this game we did have like Trossard, we had Jorginho, we had QVR, we had like um, uh, what's his name, Vieira. We had options on the bench for the first time. And contrary to what Arun and Deepak were saying, I thought we did make substitutions when things were not happening. Right? We made the substitution and that's when they scored. It was not like, oh, they scored and then we made a substitution. No, we made the substitutions. We made Jorginho. We brought on Trossard. Maybe, like Deepak said, it was not the right players that we took out, but we did make substitutions when things were not happening. Like 59th minute substitution, that was new for Arteta, right? He always makes substitutions later in the game. So how much of it, Ellen, is like the quality, or like the they have come in, the players have come in, Jorginho has come in. How many sessions would he have had, right? Is that part of what it is? Should we be patient with these with these players that we have bought?
Okay, one thing here, see, we cannot blame Jorginho, as you rightly pointed out, like he is just starting to integrate the team. But that being said, right, Arteta could have been much more better with the substitution. See, it's a learning curve for him also. He's more like methodological, or like he is process oriented. But sometimes, right, you have to go out of your comfort zone or this thing. Take the case of Tottenham versus City in Etihad. Tottenham was like leading 2-0, complete chaos Pep created by bringing in Alvarez, and they won that game 4-2. Such kind of things, right? So as to come as an instinct for him. Like it will come, but like that is something. See, we saw at 59th minute he took Partey. Maybe Partey might not be fit. Like I don't think, or else whatever be the reason, Partey is an integral point. And like we were playing bad, and like taking Partey out is not going to help us unless he's not 100%. So that was like a confusion for me. The second one was right, Martinelli, right? In the second half, he started coming into the center. So he was starting to create some trouble. At that time, we removed to bring in Prasad. As Deepak was saying, right? Prasad could have been brought in along with Martinelli, because we could have tried replacing Odegaard or somebody in the midfield, so that we are like going in a much more attack, so that because they are defending really well, so we need to create chaos in the attack. So bringing an extra attacker would have helped there. But like he wanted to follow his process, and like he did that substitution because of that. That's something he need to learn. And bringing in like Tomiyasu, you yourself said Ben White was not having a good game. Bringing in Tomiyasu at like very late is again like I feel like a substitution mistake when we are 1-0 down. See, none of these substitutes resulted in a goal. It was a clear set piece goal scored by Tarkowski, who used to play with Sindai before. So it was like a well-planned, executed set piece goal. But that being said, right, we were not controlling the game at all. So like I felt like we could have attacked a little bit more, because see, we were down 1-0, and like last 10 minutes, like we should have completely thrown. Like see how we bring in Holding to preserve a lead. We should have got complete all-out attack. In the last 10 or 15 minutes. See, he tried like such kind of thing in against United game, which backfired a bit. Maybe that could have played a reason. But I felt like we missed something in the substitutions for the game we are playing. Any other game, I would have been happy with that substitution, but like with the way we were playing, completely outplayed by Everton, and it was clear that like unless something drastic happens, we will not win, or we will not even draw. And such substitutions, it looked weak for him. But like he tried something different, like a 59-minute substitution, everything was different to what he normally does. But like still, I felt like for that game, it didn't look that strong.
Makes sense.
I have a question for you guys. Like now that we're talking about decisions and people coming off the bench and all that. Like Jorginho came in and he started playing like after 55-60 minutes, like you said, and he did not probably have the impact that people expected him to. And there was a lot of furor on Twitter, our fans were all of a sudden on the backs of all the players. Vieira came in, and even like Vieira's performance was very scrutinized. We did the same for Sambi as well when he did come and play in that game. Now, the thing is like, where we are in the process right now, we were not expected to be here. Even last season, the manager and the board said, we are faster than in the process than where we are supposed to be, but we are ahead of track. So ideally, their idea would have been like to be in the top 4 race for this season, and we find ourselves in the title race. Players like Vieira or Sambi or were probably brought in, or even Jorginho for that matter, for his first game yesterday, right? So players like Vieira and Sambi were probably brought in with the view that they would be getting enough time to integrate with the team in a top four race, where the stakes are much different and the drops in quality and the differences that are needed to make are very different than what you would see in a title race when they're suddenly asked to raise their levels. Like a Vieira is expected to play the same way as an Odegaard or a Xhaka, though Odegaard or Xhaka have been playing at the system and have known the system, gone through the pains of it, and then have come out like this right now. Are we as a fan base being very unjust when we have these expectations, or like is it like normal? Because the way in which I see it, it's like putting undue pressure on the players, and these are our players who we should be supporting, right? All of a sudden it seems like our expectations, just because we are finding ourselves in a different position, everyone is basically calling for their heads
Um,
when that's not the case. So it's just like I'm just putting it out to you guys.
I'll start answering it because I never get to answer any questions. I get to ask questions mostly. But the thing is, for me, yeah, what fans have been saying or how they say stuff might have been wrong, or how we jump to conclusions might be wrong. But the expectations are not wrong. We are not expecting, I mean, yes, we are in a title challenge, but as the team keeps saying, we are taking one game at a time. And if you consider this as one game at a time, and a game against one of the lowest placed teams in the league right now, any player of Arsenal coming in is expected to perform to make the team win, right? Not single handedly, of course, but the expectation is they come in and make the team win against at least the lowest opponents in the league. And in that sense, I don't see a problem in us expecting that, oh yeah, Vieira needs to come in and start performing, or having a bad day. Others are having a bad day. He comes and picks it up. I don't think that's unfair expectation, but how we communicate about it, the fans like going into a meltdown and stuff, that is wrong, is what I think. This is Deepak. Do you
Um,
want to answer it, or Ellen?
I
Yeah, expectations with Jorginho is like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like Ellen said, yeah, he probably would have had like two sessions or max one. So yeah, he might not fit in. He might like it might be a bad signing, but it's a gamble which we have taken. So we should obviously support the decision taken by the club. For Vieira, like yeah, he needs more games to settle into the thing. For Sambi, it doesn't. He had 2 seasons. I don't give a shit like what like people think. He had enough games to prove which he hasn't done anything of sort.
Brutal from Deepak about Sammy or anyone. Why?
but
Which
that's
side?
that's where I find, like, like we are having Sambi
He
who's not
doesn't
a
even
natural
like he doesn't even perform like for the level of top four he has done.
No,
Like
but
if
that's the thing. Like, why I find that we are expecting a 22, 23-year-old who's never played the number six role, who's being trained in that role to play and make sure that there is no drop in quality when one of the best defensive midfielders in the world is not playing. Party at 22, 23 was not a number six that we see right now. Party at 22, 23 was probably playing in, like, not even like Atletico. He was probably playing in a lower league team, and that's where he honed his skills. So now we are, how can, like, when two players with a similar potential and similar, like, career track are going on, how can we expect the guy to come in and like sort of be the same person at his age without any experience? That's
see,
where my thing
it's
is.
not about that thing. The hype surrounded Sambi was the reason behind all this thing. Like
But
everyone,
it's the same thing, Deepak. If we did buy Kaiseda for 80 or 85 million, do you think he would have made the same impact that a party would have made in party's absence?
no, I never said like Caicedo would have like made this difference, but like supporting Sambi
But
doesn't
that's the narrative, right? If we had gotten Kaisero, then we wouldn't have to play Sambi, and then Kaisero would have been better than Sambi, and then we are again like throwing our own player under the bus here.
we can throw our own player under the bus. There is nothing wrong in it. Because he has not been performing at the level which is required. Like you are saying like he hasn't been performing at the level of what level you expect him to perform. Like for a team playing like for top 10 or something, he has to perform at the level. Like he's not just 23, 24. There are so many other players in our team who is 21, 22, 23. If you look at the level of performance they are giving, he has been given enough chances that he hasn't proved enough. So like supporting Sambi here doesn't make sense at all. If you say like there
Definitely.
is Saka who is 19, there is Martinelli who is 21, there is Odegaard who is 23, who is a captain of like some other team. So that is the level of performance we are expecting from a player. So you can like clearly see from that what is that the all of nothing team. AD and Nketiah proved wrong everyone. So that is the level of expectations which we are looking. If you see Sambi every game he comes in, he doesn't put the effort as well to perform well. So that is the problem with Sambi. Maybe his loan will help in Crystal Palace. He would come a better player, come back as a better player. But just like defending Sambi doesn't make sense here.
But okay,
Interesting.
let's. I mean, the Sambi is not here, but yeah, let's take this discussion for another day. Let's give the players a little bit more chance. But getting back to the game, Ellen, like the goal that they scored, as you said, is a classic set piece goal. Sondesh team knows it. Tarkowski has played with him. Um, with all the defensive stability that we have been having for quite some time, it was really a very tame goal, and it's not the first time. Even in the United game, we let something like this happen with what's his name, Lisandro Martinez scoring from a set piece. Is this becoming? I mean, I know I'm jumping the gun, but is this something that you are worried about right now? Like defending corners.
Not exactly. See, the Lisandro Martinez goal, right? Like, let me go to that first. See, that was like a really good goal. Like, see, just because we conceded from set piece, we think like we see his header, right? Like for his height and everything, that was like a really, really good one. So let's not compare that with this. But like, see, this game, right? I agree. Maybe we could have defended better, but like overall, the game it's great. We were bad all the places. Not only in defense and everything, we were bad. See, it's just like every team goes as one or two games, like in a season where they cannot do anything right. This was such a game for us. So, like, I don't have any worries at the moment. Like, we'll have to see. If this pattern continues for next 3, 4 games, then I will be worried. But, like, this is more like, say, you take the Southampton game, for example, but there at least the first 45 minutes were really, really great. But, like, that was also a game where, like, we were, like, not having anything clicked at all. Like, this is something like that. So, if the next, I expect us to bounce back the very next game. But, like, if that doesn't happen, I start worrying if the pattern continues. See, just to summarize, like Arteta, right, has clearly said, like at the end of the game, this team has done well, and I've always been supporting of the team. Now we have played bad, and this is the time I have to be with the team. Same with the fans, like they have like support, like or like they've given a lot back to the fans by like see, we have just dropped 5 points. Like if you take United away, just 5 points to the lower leagues, or like 6 points. So that scenario, right? Like we have got more points than we normally get it. So one or two games like going against the team, I don't think it's right. This is a time fans have to support. See, we are seeing a title challenge, and we are say expecting a lot from our players. Same happens to the fans also. See, if a team is trying for title, how should we should not blame small mistake. Even if there's a mistake in the game, we have to support it. In the crowd or in the ground, that support is happening. But even the outside world, right? If you support more, the psychology or like the expectations or like the players will be more comfortable.
I should have had this as
So
the end of this podcast, because Ellen sounds like, this is one of those speeches like when the D-Day was happening, where people are going like, yes, I'm gonna go and fight this, like, but yeah, it is true. We have to keep supporting. But coming back to Deepak, right? Deepak, last thoughts before we wind up, and I'll finish it with Arun. Um, about this title challenge, or like the rest of the season. We've had like, it's not just this game. We've had the City loss followed by this loss, so it's like two 1-0 losses to Arsenal. And there has been questions asked. You've talked about like the United fans being delusional and stuff, but there are questions asked. How do you feel about the scenario from now on? Because we do have the City game coming up. How do you feel about it? Oh, you're muted, Deepak. You're muted.
I think we are still in a good position, right? We still have like that 5 points, whatever. Like last week they were saying we were the prime position to win the title. Just we lost this game, they like went back to saying Arsenal like is back. But obviously City lost. We still have that point cushion. Like what changed right now? Nothing has changed. So how we react towards the Brentford game, how we perform, would like show us like that this was just like a small blip. So I'm like still confident that we would like challenge for that. Not challenge, like we would be at least like, I think we might win the title, but at least challenge City for the title for sure. There, I think
Deepak,
like
just to help you with one thing here, it's 5 points against Everton in home. Against Everton in home, we normally win. So it's
yeah,
like 5 point plus a game. So it's more than 5 points.
8 points. Yeah, so like yeah, something like that. So we have a good like cushion, right? So even if we lose against it, I don't expect us to lose the home game against City, because like I think we would turn up for sure in Emirates. So we would at least get a draw for sure. So I don't expect us to lose. So we would still have like at least like 5 to 6 points cushion. And we can like take it as deep as we want and see how we perform.
Okay, so Arun, about your thing, finish it off. Is there a drop in quality? Is there a drop in creativity? Are we are we out of the rich form that we were in for half a season? Was that a form or was that actually a quality? How do you see it going
Well,
forward?
it's just one game. We still have
Yeah.
lost only 2 games through the
So
season.
much meltdown for just one game.
One game. That's the thing. It's our second league loss in 5 months.
Let's
I don't
if we
understand
lose
if
the Brentford game, yes, okay, yeah, we can like have a meltdown.
yeah, not even a meltdown, even if we lose the Brentford game. I mean, like, come on, we knew this team was good. We knew this team had the potential, but I don't think at any point we expected the team to be where it is right now. So, given all that, I do not see like the second loss over 5 months to be like a loss of form, if you really want to call it, you know. So, it's just like a blip. Every team has it. Like, Invincibles were lucky to be Invincibles. Like, they were able to convert these losses into draws and draws to wins. They had this potential, but we are not there yet. This is not the invincible team, and this is like things that are bound to happen. Every title-winning team does lose games. Otherwise, every title-winning team will be getting close to 120 points every season. So teams do lose games. This is very normal. We are still like quite a ways to go in terms of the title. Half the season we have left. We still have 5 points lead in hand, and so I mean, like, I do not see ourselves still being in the title race. We're just there. We are in the position that's good. But is this changing anything? No, this doesn't change anything for me, especially given the City result. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. See, like if AD and Nketiah had scored that goal, or if they didn't clear the like
Saka thing.
Saka's shot, it would have been 1-1 draw. So these are like
Yeah.
5 margins. So yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't
if,
have a
if you,
meltdown.
yeah, I mean, if you put it that way, yes, it is. And I think we are running out of time. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming in. I never expected this podcast to be so uplifting, especially with Ellen's speech of, uplifting the fans and everything. So thank you, guys. Thank you for joining in
Thank
today.
you. Thank you very much.
And yeah, for the listeners, please do like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
The
Right.
other Arsenal will win the title if you like.
There you go. Deepak says that. So, bye, guys.